I'm gonna make you disappear.
Abandon all hope, everyone. This is my breaking point. If I engage in hyperbole in this episode, I hope you'll understand. If I offend you, maybe one day you'll be able to forgive me. And if you actually like this anime to any degree, just shut the video off now, because I'm going to ruin F for you permanently, and I might legitimately make you hate me. But just understand, I'm only human. So here we go. Kick off this time with Sheen-kun trying to break into Hiro's apartment because they're best friends or something.
Minute, are you going to turn away your best friend in the middle of the night, you jerk?
Well, this is certainly news to me, as they've had all of 2 interactions in the last 5 episodes. There might have been a third, but I've been blacking out for long periods of time recently. Oh, I need a doctor.
You're a manga artist?
Yeah.
Best friends ever! Onuma Cunt, best friend of Hiro, threatens to tell his secret to the world unless he calls Kei over and convinces her to work on his film project. Huh. So best friends blackmail and manipulate each other. I'll have to write that one down for JT later. Hang on a second. Okay, whatever. Kei gets mad, but watches some crappy movie that Onuma Stew didn't make anyway, leading to the most pretentious rant I've ever seen. Somewhere, Terrence Malick is eating his heart out.
There's no script. I just want to capture your life and feelings. I just want to see what I can do. What art can I make from the footage?
Can you create something without a vision?
I don't want to be tied down to a vision.
That's just idealistic.
Great work is meaningless if it's not what I wanted to create in the first place, right?
Creating anything is never as easy as you think it'll be.
You think creating with artistic freedom is easy?
Professionals are always having to battle with constraints. Unlike you, we struggle for creative freedom all the time.
I don't want to be constrained by an audience or some random panel of judges. Do you write only for your readers, or do you write for yourself?
Do you create with absolutely no regard for your audience?
I don't care if it's one scene or if it's one frame. I want to create something that will shake the audience to its core. I have to be shaken to my core as well. Do you understand?
No. No one does. Hell, you don't even understand what you're babbling about. You admitted it to us 12 times already. But for fun, let's break this idiot's rant down line by line and discover just how meaningless it all is.
Can you create something without a vision?
I don't want to be tied down to a vision.
That doesn't make any sense because you already have a vision. You said it yourself. You want to capture Kei's life and feelings. A vision is just that. Knowing what you want to film, knowing what to shoot, where to shoot, and how to shoot intuitively is what defines creative vision. No one said to adhere yourself to someone else's ideas, but acting like you don't need one of your own is mind-bogglingly stupid, because then you wouldn't have any idea what the hell you are doing. You can't just shoot random footage of everything everywhere and hope eventually you come upon some random shiny footage. So are you proactively saying that you want to be an intentional idiot? Saying that you know nothing is not a firm position that you can argue from. It is quite literally no position at all.
Great work is meaningless if it's not what I wanted to create in the first place, right?
Okay, now you're contradicting yourself. How can you know what you want to create if you don't have a vision? Furthermore, if you don't have a firm idea of exactly what it is you wanted to create in the first place, how can you possibly know if you failed to achieve it? How can you have such a firm grasp on what you're aiming for without a vision? Oh, that's right. You can't. Moron.
Take some advice from someone who's a professional artist.
You think creating with artistic freedom is easy? It's a lot harder than working within constraints like you.
That is just objectively not true. Give someone infinite sand and tell them to build the world's biggest sandcastle. They'll be able to do it no matter what. However, give them the constraints of the exact minimum amount of sand required to accomplish the same goal, and all of a sudden, they need to calculate everything very acutely to make sure that it can possibly be done, and unless that person is some kind of doctorate engineer with the know-how, they're likely to fail. There. Constraints make things harder. Proven beyond doubt. Double moron.
Professionals are always having to battle with constraints. Unlike you, we struggle for creative freedom all the time.
But we're fighting different battles then, aren't we?
You are fighting no battles. You had one right in front of you in the film club and you ran away. You are now literally left to shoot whatever you want with your camera with no one telling you what to do or how to do it. There is literally no one left to wage a battle against you. So what the hell are you talking about?
I don't want to be constrained by an audience or some random panel of judges.
I'm constantly creating things I want to create as well, but that doesn't mean I can totally ignore my readers, does it?
That is absolutely true. Unless you want to have your film on your bookshelf at home where you and only you can talk to yourself about how great it is and never make any money off it, never get it distributed, and never reach an audience of any kind, you have to ensure that it's something other people will want to watch and care about. But again, without some kind of vision, you can't even ensure it's something you'll want to watch in the first place, so this whole film of yours is looking more and more pointless by the word.
I don't care if it's one scene or if it's one frame. I want to create something that will shake the audience to its core. But to make that happen, I have to be shaken to my core as well.
Oh, so you do care what your audience thinks because your ultimate goal is to elicit a reaction from them. Do you have any ideas that are not constantly being contradicted or rendered irrelevant by your other ideas? And what exactly do you mean by shaken to your core? This is, again, something you can only guarantee encountering if you have some idea what would shake you to your core, i.e., a fucking vision. Maybe there are certain emotions that are difficult for you to deal with because of childhood trauma. Start there. You go study people who have dealt with childhood abuse in their past and confront those emotions that you would never deal with on your own. Would that not shake you to your core? And would putting them on display with raw, unadulterated ferocity not shake your audience to their core? But how would you know to pursue that if you don't try to determine ahead of time what would shake you to your core because all you want to do is not know?
Do you understand?
Do you understand? Do you?
There's nothing to understand. Everything he's saying is empty pseudo-ideological crap that he's trying to pass off as actual philosophy, but you can't do that when you constantly contradict yourself and refuse to look for any substance that would actually justify your ridiculous ramblings. None of this happened in the visual novel. Not a single word of it. It has no place anywhere except as a vehicle for Shin Onuma to bitch and whine about his pathetic non-problems. Instead, this is exactly what it appears to be. An idiotic high schooler throwing an idiotic tantrum. It has nothing of higher importance to be gleaned. Nothing!
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
If that that's how you feel, then go for it.
Don't worry, I will!
Well, good luck, considering that you will make and present exactly no film at any point in this series or the next. You did it.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Onumatard rushes off and Kei has a chat with Hiro, asking him if he thinks she's too overbearing and probing about his involvement with Miyako. Well, it's about time.
It never used to be like this.
We're not kids anymore.
I know we're not. But you've grown up way too fast.
Well, maybe that wouldn't be a problem if you tried growing up faster, or maybe at all, Anyway, Kei runs past Hiro just to turn back around to ask Hiro if he'll come to her basketball game on Saturday, implying that she's going to confess her feelings for him afterward. Yeah, I'm sure that'll actually happen. Meanwhile, Himura and Renji 13 hours. 13 hours, memory, 13 hours.
Let's pray that she finishes what she set out to do. But I will give you one piece of advice. Don't get involved with Chihiro.
What?
Don't get involved with Chihiro.
What?
Don't get involved with Chihiro.
A little late now, wouldn't you say? Man, it's almost like he should have said this back when he ran into Renji in the middle of town. You know, like he did in the visual novel? So anyway, man, I was meaning to tell you, I'm thinking about getting into cocaine. I hear it's great for weight loss.
Really? Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be getting into a super extreme drug like that, you better brace yourself.
Ah, man, don't worry about it. I got it on lockdown.
Oh, shit! Oh my god, Will! You shouldn't start snorting cocaine! What? Well, I've done all I can.
Kei confronts Miyako by some train tracks to provide a convenient visual for the ending of the episode and vomits her entire history with Hiro, even though none of it really has any bearing on anything.
He became obsessed with it. But I never thought he'd become a manga artist. His talent is extraordinary.
Which is why you've tried to talk him out of it for years now, right? Right? Are you going to render your own motivation idiotic too now? What kind of sense does that make?
You can't sit back and admire someone who's trying to achieve something. At least I know for sure he'd never fall in love with the girl who did that.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I caught that.
You can't sit back and admire someone who's trying to achieve something. At least I know for sure he'd never fall in love with the girl who did that.
How about one more time?
You can't sit back and admire someone who's trying to achieve something. At least I know for sure he'd never fall in love with the girl who did that.
So, are you trying to justify abusive relationships? Because I can't follow what greater point you're trying to make here.
Is that why you started playing basketball?
Sure, it makes about as much sense as anything else. Finally, Kei confesses her love for Hiro to Miyako, which, as Miyako points out, accomplishes absolutely nothing.
Why are you confessing your love to me?
Which brings us full hateful circle.
I'll make you disappear from his heart. He'll never even remember you were here. And that will be the beginning of Hiro and my story.
Well, is there a one of you out there that actually cares about this girl anymore? I'd love for you to explain why. No, legitimately, I would love for you to articulate in detail what you delusionally believe to be logic and reason. But before you do that, I'm going to tell you every single reason why you're completely batshit insane. If you can sympathize with Kei Shindo to any degree, you're a lunatic. No, I mean it. Normal people with healthy minds do not behave this way. This entire conflict is her fault. She has literally had her entire life to confess her feelings to Hiro and instead opted to call him Big Brother and kind of just hope they randomly ended up together. That makes her an idiot. However, another girl arrives and starts spending time with Hiro and getting closer to him. Oh yeah, don't forget that part. Hiro and Miyako are not together. They are not romantically connected at all. Sure, there's the implication that there's something in the air between them that might eventually become something substantial. But for now, Miyako's always been coy and sarcastic about love, so I'm sure Hiro has no idea what's going on with her either. So yeah, back on track. Kei's response to this is to go after the other girl like the fucking devil, literally threatening to wipe her out of existence as her first and only measure of getting together with Hiro. Yeah, didn't realize that, did ya? Kei hasn't attempted anything at all to pull Hiro towards her and away from Miyako. She made some crappy food once. Big deal. That does not constitute wooing someone. She had a single argument with Miyako in which she was the definitive loser because, again, idiot. So her first and only proactive idea for catching Hiro's heart is to socially kill off Miyako so that there's no competition. This makes her a psychopath. I say this because at no point does she actually try to use any of her positive personality traits that might actually attract Hiro. She doesn't try to be warm or loving to him. Instead, she actually tells us flat out why that apparently wouldn't work. Again, idiot. She would actually legitimately rather destroy someone than love someone. How is she not a psychopath? Whether you like it or not, Kei has become the villain. An irredeemable villain at that. She's the one I'll be happy to see painfully defeated at the end of this story. I will enjoy her downfall. I will savor the moment when her heart breaks. But as we'll see, that is clearly not the writer's intent. So what the hell is their intent? Am I supposed to sympathize with her? Am I supposed to take this seriously? Somehow? This is nothing but prototypical high school melodrama BS, and if this show was aimed at high schoolers, that probably wouldn't be such a big deal. I'd still hate it, but it wouldn't be for me, so I would digress. However, this is an adaptation of an adult visual novel and is, subsequently, through its own content, aimed at an adult audience. So even though it's depicting a situation that could very well play out in some high school because of some crazy bitch, that crazy bitch would still be the villain because she'd still be a vindictive, malicious, awful person. So what is even the hell? And I say this as someone who didn't mind Kei in the visual novel. Yeah, she was fine. I mean, she did say something similar to Miyako at one point about getting rid of her, but then, surprise, she didn't follow through on it, thought better of it, and instead actually confessed her feelings to Hiro! Man, what a novel concept that is! And then, when it didn't work out, she moved on. Like an adult! Like a real person! Where the hell is that storyline? Instead, we get this mind-blowing manufactured unlogic that exclusively provides the groundwork for Kei to never develop beyond this. At least not as long as an actual story is focusing on her. All we get is a horrible person who wants to make other people feel horrible so that she can make herself feel better. Then, when encountered with someone who she can't make miserable, who she can't drag down into self-loathing, she wants to destroy that person. What a disgusting, revolting bitch bully of a character. But no, empathize with her pain. Feel what she feels. No fucking thanks. And that's it. No, really. I got nothing left to say about Kay here. However, she is perfectly endemic of everything wrong with the writing in this series. I mean, to take a character that was good, that actually worked, and reduce her to a sad, one-dimensional shell of what she was. I mean, yeah, the visual novel was a tad on the boring side, but that's because it had the clear goal of portraying things realistically as though they could have actually happened. And to be honest, a lot of real life is pretty mundane. But this is so much worse by comparison. At least the boredom of the visual novel was occasionally spiced up by actual characters who felt like real people somewhat. Here, we just have nothing. Nothing!
Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
So what happens after this? Nothing should. This should have closed out the episode, seeing as it was the focus of the opening shot. But instead we have more pointless. Renji takes Chihiro to a library, causing her to cream her skirt immediately. Well, it's good to see he took Himura's warning so seriously. Miyako asks Hiro out on a date for Saturday night, the same time as Kei's basketball game, and Hiro agrees because he's a complete idiot. Of course, he gets an emergency call because Kei managed to injure herself in the game he didn't go to, and rather than text his date to let her know he won't be making it, he leaves his phone in his apartment and doesn't say anything. Because, once again, idiot! You know, maybe these two really are meant for each other. Fuck me. So yeah. Is there a single character left for me to care about who isn't either too stupid to draw breath or too awful to be redeemed? Ah, Miyako Miyamura. Yeah, she hasn't done anything too terrible. And yeah, she's steadfast with Hiro and she loves him. She stood by him and supported him all the way through. Yeah, there's one character that they can't possibly ruin. It's her. Miyako Miyamura.
Let it all out.